One piece of wood, one lathe, one beautiful baby rattle. Let's begin. From the plum wood blank, I first turn a tenon on the right side, which I'll later use to mount the piece securely in the chuck. I begin shaping the rough form of the rattle, and I went with a slightly cylindrical form with gently rounded sides. The head of the rattle needs to be turned slightly longer than its final size, because later we'll cut it in half and create a clean joint for gluing the two parts back together. With the rough shape established, I use a parting tool to cut the head of the rattle in half. This gives me two separate pieces, one half of the head, and the other half still attached to the handle. Now, I begin hollowing the mounted half of the rattle, the side that still includes the handle. Since I'm working with fully dried, very hard wood, the turning process is naturally a bit slower. I carefully remove material from the inside, shaping the interior into a smooth cavity. On the outside of the rattle's head, I turn a small shoulder that will later help align the two halves during assembly. Once the half with the handle is hollowed out, I prepare the other half of the head for hollowing. I shape the interior of this half in the same way as the previous one. Inside this half, I also turn a small recess that will accept the neck of the other piece. Before we continue, we check that the two halves fit together properly, as this is crucial for the final assembly. Now we mount the handle side back into the chuck and slide the other half of the head onto it. With both parts joined together, we can turn the final outer shape of the rattle. Once we're satisfied with the final outer shape, we can add any decorative details we want. To hide the joint between the two halves, I burn a decorative groove at the seam using a wire. Instead of a single dark line, I add a couple of rings on each side so the detail feels more intentional and visually balanced. Now I shape the end of the handle, giving it a smooth and comfortable finish. We sand the entire surface of the rattle with a sanding sponge. I use two types of sanding sponges, first a coarse one, and then a fine one to smooth the surface. I apply the finish while the piece is still mounted on the lathe. I'm using a food-grade mineral oil, which is safe for items that come into contact with food, and therefore also suitable for a children's toy. To finish, we cut the rattle free from the blocks on both sides. We start by cutting off the right side, then sand away the remaining wood at the cut and apply a fresh coat of finish. We cut off the left side as well, sand it the same way, and apply the final finish. Before the final assembly, we check again that the two halves fit together properly. If we're happy with the fit, the only thing left is to fill the rattle with the material that creates the sound and glue the two halves together. I use small metal beads, but you can use almost anything from various seeds to decorative beads. Each filling material produces a slightly different sound, so before gluing, try a few options and choose the one that suits you best. We just fill the rattle, glue the two halves together, and the functional baby rattle is complete. And this is how the rattle sounds in action. If you enjoyed the process, feel free to leave a like and subscribe.